Welcome to the Level Up Your Band podcast, episode 74. Hello and welcome back to the Level Up Your Band podcast. My name is Gavin Patterson. I'm here with Julian Pombo.
Hi,
Red Hat Boy.
the resident gnome for today's podcast. Wait, let me get my hat looking a little gnomier. There we go. I'll just do this. It's not going to be distracting for the video viewers at all.
It's totally not going to be the thumbnail.
No, let me. There we go. Yeah, for those of you who are listening, I'm wearing a red hat. That's it.
That's your chat for today.
That's the chat.
Yeah, we were supposed to do this yesterday, but I ran out of time. I was frantically
It's
trying
okay.
to get...
It worked out for the better, I didn't tell you, but Rachel's gotten into a really bad habit of booking things when I'm supposed to be recording the podcast. Because she's like, oh, I keep forgetting that you're going over to Gavin's studio now to do the podcast. I keep thinking it's an online thing. So it's just like, a couple of weeks ago it was like a lesson, and then it was just like a haircut, and then something else. So
she'll just do it like just to annoy you now, like because she knows now.
Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding. No, yesterday I realised that I had 1,001 things to do, and I hadn't mixed the podcast for it to come out on the Wednesday morning.
It happens.
And I was like, oh no. Because I was busy all weekend and I didn't have time to do it. I really should edit them far in advance, but yeah, I don't do that. I don't know why.
Well, you can't scrub through it at 2 times speed, so
I'm working on that. I'm trying to think of ways I can do that. Yeah. Anyway, so I was perusing YouTube, and I came across a video that was talking about press kits, press packs.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. We're 74 episodes in, we haven't even mentioned them.
Yeah.
It's like, that's, over a year of podcasting, we didn't even mention press kits. So
I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know anything about press kits. So this is a good chance for me to ask lots of stupid questions that viewers at home might be thinking. All right, I'll try.
You probably do know, but it's just, I don't know. I went to a college that did music. It's not music college, and they were super emphasizing press kits for bands back then. That was 2009, 10, 11.
We didn't even do anything. If there was a lecture where we talked about press kits, I really don't remember it, at all.
This is the boring bit.
Yeah.
Can I play bass again, please? So, yeah, press kits, press packs. What are they? So, a press pack or press kit is a collection of information about your band that you give to venues, promoters, labels, festivals, and media, newspapers, radio stations, blog writers, or whatever.
So newspapers need to know your stage plan. I'm joking. We need this
drums
gear.
On the back.
We used this.
How is this relevant? I don't know. Breaking news. Your band name has drums at the back, vocalist up the front. Oh, no, it's not very newsworthy. So the reason why you need one is because basically you're doing... The person who you give the press pack to, you're doing them a favour because they don't need to research you. Right? So... the whole idea is you give them a bundle of information about your band that they can just sift through really quickly and get a good grasp of where you are in your career, what type of band you are. They can tell a good, it's like a cross-section snapshot of your band.
Yeah.
So that they can go, yeah, these are cool. I'll book you, or I'll write an article about you, or whatever. That's kind of what it is. And press kits usually cluster around releases. So you usually give out loads of press kits to like media outlets coming up to a EP launch or an album launch, traditionally. It's become less of a thing now because the music industry's changed so much, but I think there's still a place for press packs.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. So big gatekeepers, I'm going to call them gatekeepers. So a gatekeeper is just someone who you have to go through and to get to a place that you desire.
Yes.
So like, I'm trying to think of a gatekeeper. A bouncer in a pub is a gatekeeper. You have to convince the gatekeeper of the pub that you're sober enough to get in, and you have to show your ID so that you're of age, and then you get in. So in the music industry, there are gatekeepers that... A gatekeeper is someone who owns a Spotify playlist or runs a record label or runs a venue. You need to try and get through that one person so you can get through the gate and into the thing that you want, to play on this stage, to play at this festival, to play in this venue, to release music on this label or platform. That's basically what a gatekeeper is. So, like I said, gatekeepers and promoters, labels, all that, they don't have enough time to sift through all of the bands that contact them and then individually research every single band to see how popular they are, because, you know, they're not just going to go like, oh, this band email me, oh yeah, we'll just book them, because they could have 2 followers or 20,000. And how would they know? They have to go and research. But if they're getting 200 emails a day, that's a lot of work. Like, they don't have enough time for that. So that's where press kits come in.
Yeah.
So press kits were an attempt by musicians to try and convince bookers to book them.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a CV, kind of.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I can see now why press kits aren't as popular anymore, because your website is more or less, if you have a website, it more or less is a press kit already.
Yes.
Even a Facebook page, I mean, who uses YouTube anymore? Or Facebook, rather, anymore. But like, or your band Instagram page, it's already a press kit.
More or less. Press kit's a little bit more detailed, and a press kit will include information that you probably don't want on your website. So I'll get into that.
Okay, that's interesting.
So,
right. But I can see why people aren't automatically thinking now, like, oh, we need press kits, because it's not something that automatically comes to mind, because you kind of think to yourself, like, well, now, like, all the information
exactly, yeah. So if you think pre-internet, how would you find out all the stats of a band? You couldn't go on their website. So they would give out all these press kits, and you could just read through their stuff, and it was like a physical website in your hand, because press kits were actual physical packs, printed out stuff. What's this juicy information that you're not that you wouldn't want to put on your website? So
I'm curious about that.
It's just extra information that is kind of irrelevant to fans.
Right.
They don't really care. They just want to buy your merch and, you know, listen to your music. That's all they want to do. So we'll go through some of the stuff that you can put in your press kit. So things to include: band bio. So that's like how the band started, you know, a story. You need make it a story. It's got to be a good story. You can elaborate on it. So make it interesting. Don't be like, oh yeah, we just met in college and then we just like had a jam and it was like quite cool and then we decided to make a band. It's not very interesting. If you make it like, I don't know, like, oh, one day I was thinking about like doing this style of music and I met this pal and he was so into it too, and then we decided let's join a band and we're going to conquer the world and all that. Like this, it's something that's printable. Yeah, like it's not just going to be like boring and mundane.
Yeah, totally. It doesn't have to be like an epic. Although if you want to, you totally could.
Oh yeah, you can make it up.
You know, write some kind of like pseudo Tolkien, like big, like
mythology,
massive story about how you know, if it fits the band.
And the genre. So that's a big one, because that's one of the first things that the gatekeeper will look at is, well, I book country music and this is a metal band. Well, that's an instant disqualifier. And heads up as well, if you're a country band and you're applying to go to like a million different places, research the place before you send your press kit, because it's extremely insulting if you send a press kit that's completely unrelated to the thing you're sending it to. People, like, they'll just get a collection of emails and spam them all, but you'll just annoy people if they're like, well, you're clearly not suited for this venue or this label or whatever. Go away.
Like, you should know this kind
You should
of thing.
know that, yeah.
Like, it makes you seem like an idiot. So.
Yeah, you should always know a little bit about the person you're talking to. Research them a little bit.
It doesn't take long. You just have a look and see what bands they're booking.
Yep, it's quite easy.
Yep.
So the amount and description of material you have released. So that's your discography. So you can show them, back in 2015 we released an EP, then in 2018 we released an album or whatever. And just, you can have just a wee list of all the songs you've done. Also, the reason being is it shows that you're well established. A venue's less likely to book, like top venues, if you're brand new to the scene and you've got no following, because they want to sell tickets. So if they see like, oh, they've got 5 years at this, 6 years at this, 10 years at this, and they've got 20,000 followers on Facebook, they're doing all right. Let's give them a try. Social proof, all that. They've got some experience. I mean, we've had that, certainly. Some gatekeepers turning us down because we weren't, air quotes, established enough.
Yeah.
Come back in 2 years and we'll see if you're still going. Then
we'll see if you're still a band.
We'll see if you're still a band. And I quote, we'll see if you're still a band. I think that was the exact words that they used.
Yeah.
More or less.
And if I remember correctly, it was because a lot of bands get together and play this event, and they might be very good, but what's happened in this person's experience that runs this event is that they give the thing to the band,
yep,
the award, and then it's like yay, and then nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing for the.
It doesn't look good. Look good for them. So they always tend to award it to people who have been gigging for a fair bit.
Yeah.
And are already quite well known.
Yeah, so make sure you include that kind of info. That we've been doing this for a while, and this is the
yeah, totally. Like we've been gigging for I think that but I don't think it matters. Don't worry so much about like numbers and like how many fans or followers you have, but I think the fact that you're like, we've gigged all these different places and we've been gigging for like 3 years or however many years it is, 5 years, and that already, it's like, okay, well, these guys are committed and they're still going, they're still creating things, whatever, so
yep. And you can maybe include individual bios as well. So like, this is the drummer's background, the bassist, whatever. I wouldn't put that at the forefront because I think that's less important. I think the band bio is more important. But only include it if it's interesting or necessary. Don't include it if it's just like, our drummer went to school and started drums and then joined a band. Our bassist went to school, learned bass, and then went and joined a band. Our guitarist went to school, learned the guitar.
We all started a band in like the second to last year of high school. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's not interesting. It's not worth. If it's not interesting and newsworthy, like it's not worth reporting.
Apologies to the people listening now. Like, hey, that's me.
It's me.
Yeah.
So like. That's the press kit's supposed to be like a gleaming representation of you. It's got to be engaging and it's got to be super striking. Like, wow, these guys are really something else. Like, don't be telling them like boring information that's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
So moving on. So that's band bio.
Right.
So a little bit about you. Photos. So you have a little section in you can arrange this so it's in pages, like a PDF. So you can have, your bio, and then you can flip over and you can have a couple of pages of some high resolution photos. Make sure they're high res. Because there's nothing worse than getting some crappy thumbnail quality.
Some like stinky little JPEG.
Yeah. So anything from gigs, from the studio, photo shoots, album artwork, and just general aesthetic representation of your band. So you want it to be cohesive, a collection of artwork, a collection of photographs that all have the same feel, that all have the same vibe. Of whatever your album cycle is at that particular moment. Don't make it so it looks like it's all a different band. And I don't mean like different members, I just mean the same art style, the same sort of language, the same feel. It feels more cohesive. You can design this press kit to look like it's been a well put together, designed piece of art. That's the way to think about it. So I've seen a lot of press kits, and they're like ring binders, like dissertations. They're just dreadful to listen to read. They're just so boring. It's like
I hate the sound of ring binders too.
it's like a higher chemistry ring binder. It's just horrible. Yeah. With white A4 sheets of paper with black text. It's just not pretty. It's not designed well. It's not easy on the eyes. There's big blocks of text. It's just off-putting.
You want a nice balance between form and function,
Yes. 100%. Make it look nice.
Sorry, I keep punching the mic stand. I don't mean to.
I don't know what it did to you, but
it's just
it's like Julian Bubble keeps hitting me.
Yeah.
I don't like mic stands either. They're just annoying. They break. So yeah, make it look pretty with photos and stuff, and just generally nice to look at. Music. So sound files, if it's electronic or CDs, put a CD in the collection so they can sit and play it. But I mean, I would recommend you don't make a physical press pack. I would make a digital one.
A digital one.
So you can include
totally on a PDF. You can put links.
Or you can, what I would suggest is make a web page, whether it's hosted on your website and it's private, it's like a private link, or with a password. So you can make your press kit, so they can go www.yourbandname.com/press kit.
Gavin over here living in the year 3021. Just like, that's genius. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
And it's password protected or whatever, so people can't accidentally stumble upon it. So you give the password out to your gatekeeper, and they go on, and you can have embedded MP3 players on the website, and they can have a listen to your music just then and there. Plus, it's the same domain as your website, so they can have a look at your website as well. The forward-facing audience perspective.
Oh, that's so good.
So latest release or best representation of your band's current vibe. So don't be posting your SoundCloud rap videos from 2013.
Or like demos or whatever.
Yeah.
Like put your most recent. It doesn't matter if you've only got like 3 tunes, like that are like professionally recorded and mixed or whatever. Those 3 tunes will be fine.
Yeah.
Like there's a just as an example, there's a band that I've only just heard of. They're doing pretty well. They're from the Isle of Wight, called Wet Leg. But they've just got the one song.
Right.
And it's getting played on. I heard it on Radio 1 actually. That's where I heard it on. I was like, oh wow, this is kind of fun. This is kind of cool. And their website's pretty cool. I'll show it to you later. You can have a look, see what you think of it. But it is very basic, and it just gives you the information that you want. Tour dates, music video, very quick bio. That's it. This is where you can listen to our music.
Easy peasy, yeah.
Easy peasy.
Nice one.
Yeah. So that's, and they've only got the one. I'm sure they obviously have more songs, but they've just got that one song, that one single that they're sort of working, and yeah,
right, nice and simple.
Nice and simple. So you can totally do that.
Next one is video. So video content. So that's music videos, live videos, maybe some behind the scenes. Some little comedy videos like 2.5 minutes of just banter, just so that the person can get a feel for the type of people you are. If you're like easygoing, don't take yourself too seriously, but your music's really good and you're nice guys, you can see that in a video like that. So that might be worth putting up, but make it short. Get your glossiest music video you've got and the best live recording you've got as well. Fire it up there. Looks really good. And again, you can host that on a website, like have a YouTube player on your website and they can just watch it straight off your YouTube channel. I would recommend doing that because what it does is if it's already on your YouTube channel, it'll put another watch on another view on your YouTube instead of hosting it on your website where it's just going to be in a tiny little, Squarespace player or something where you don't get to record the views. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it counts towards your YouTube channel if you're sending it out a lot. And one that particularly shows an audience with audience interaction, showing that the crowds like you. Because if they watch all these glossy videos, like, yeah, but what are they like live? So show them the live video and make sure that the video includes like people having a good time in the crowd. Like, yeah, like it's social proof. That's what you're looking for with this.
Very easy to do as well. Like you can just set up a phone or GoPro or whatever you have handy, just whatever camera, and just set it up, just static somewhere, and then just film it, and then you've got snippets of live gig that you can use,
Yeah.
Or if you feel like doing a little bit of extra work, you could you could hypothetically, I don't know how well it would sound, but you could just record straight from the desk. PA, and sync that with the video.
Yeah,
done.
Or hire a professional.
A professional if you have the money.
Video recorder,
yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways. And the problem with a phone in a crowd is it's crap. So what you can do though is you can get a collection of phone videos, GoPro videos from a tour. Say every night of the tour, you have a GoPro sitting up on an amp or the bar or something. And you can take like snippets of like 5 seconds of every single bit of footage you have, compile it all together, put your album track over the top of the video, and just have wee 5 seconds, 2 second snippets, like 1, 2, cut, and just keep moving and then you don't notice how bad the quality is because you're constantly seeing new things all the time. If you just stay in one shot for like 2.5 minutes, it's rubbish. It's not interesting. So you can see, wow, they've been to this venue and they've been to this venue, they've been to this. You kind of forgive the band for having potato quality video. If it's well edited, you won't notice.
No.
Plus, if you have an iPhone that was made, in the last 2 years, the camera on it is well sufficient for.
Yeah, unless you're Android gang, at which point.
Well, the Android's the same. The cameras on the Androids.
They're not bad. They're better. They're not as good as the cameras on iPhones.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty decent photos taken on some Samsungs and stuff.
Depends on the model, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, pictures, videos, media reviews. So that's blog reviews, radio interviews. So you can actually, sometimes you'll get a text, a lot of radio.
Like a transcript.
That's the word I'm looking for. Transcript of like a radio interview or a podcast interview. And they'll post it, like you'll get an interview by, I don't know, the Daily Record. And they'll record it and release it on their YouTube channel, and they'll also release it on their website or put it in the paper, and they'll have a quote blah, 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 and then your response, and you'll sometimes see this on these types of articles. So you can put that in as text, meaningful ones that it's not just like, so where do you guys grow up? It's not interesting. Don't put that in. Put in things like, what inspires you to write music or something like that. So they can sit down and read, like, okay, the inspiration for this band was a novel. Like I know some bands that formed over the love of a novel, and they wrote music based on a novel.
Yeah.
Like Tolkien or something.
Fontaine's DC did that. They were all in like a poetry club, from what I understand it, and they were all into like James Joyce and stuff like that, and just wrote. Yeah, that's how they started collaborating, writing poems together, and then let's set these poems to songs, and then they became Fontaine's DC.
See, that's an interesting story, worth printing. It's something that can be written. It's not like, just my mate knew this guy and introduced me, and then I just joined the band. It's not interesting. If that is your story, I'm very sorry. But there's always an angle.
You can 100% play up the mundane nature of it, and like,
our story's pretty mundane. It's like, we wanted to start a wedding band and it failed.
The most mundane of beginnings.
But it's funny.
Let's start a band to make money. And then we're like, let's actually try and do something a little interesting. And then, but it actually is kind of interesting. So we went through so many musicians just to find the right mixture,
formula, Yeah, it's quite funny. Because when the wedding band thing wasn't happening, I got a phone call from Aileen. She was like, yeah, so this isn't really happening. Do you want to start an originals band? And I was like, what would you have in mind? And she's like, what about like Scottish folk snarky puppy? And I was like, yes, please. That sounds amazing. I was like, right, who's going to be in the band? And then she's like, and then we were just like going through all these lists of people. And it just grew arms and legs. And within a year, we were on TV. It was like, what the hell? It was just a good combination. Anyway, that was a good story.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. Failed wedding band. Newspaper reviews and articles, things like that. Things that have been printed about you that you're proud of, and people saying good things about you. Social proof. Again, this whole press kit is all social proof, proving that you have what it takes to get into said venue, festival or whatever.
That you actually mean business. You're not just a bunch of boys and girls or whatever, just like,
wasting time.
Yeah.
Band achievements. So that's like an event that you have played that you thought was significant or relevant. Milestones that you've achieved, like YouTube subscribers or Spotify streams or merch sold or whatever. Special venues, festivals you've played that were quite, good to play at. Like, we supported a band at Wembley, or we played at Glastonbury, or whatever, something like that. Or
something.
We played at the Isle of Man TT. I don't know, just some random stuff, a random thing that was important to you. That it might not mean anything to someone else, but if it's interesting, like we opened a garden centre on the Isle of Skye, like something really, really dumb, like or I was walking past the Golden Marble restaurant thing in Glasgow yesterday.
Oh,
do you remember? We opened that restaurant, their grand opening. We played their grand opening.
Yeah.
It's just weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah.
Incidentally.
I mean, like, not the full band. There was no way.
No, it was half the band.
Yeah, it was half the band. But it was still a thing that the band did, which is nuts.
I think if you frame it in such a way that it's, I don't know, funny or interesting, or you can throw a wee wild card in there along with your, we played this festival or we won this award.
Local big local festivals and things like that. Like we've played Eden a bunch of times, and
yeah, just some local festivals, or you got on telly, or you were on some show or something. I don't know. You'll have something that you've done that you're proud of and you want to say. So that's the type of thing you put in that section. And then getting on to the end is social media links. So that's your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, website, YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff. So that they can click off of this document and go and actually see, the audience facing stuff, not just the behind the scenes stuff. So, see how you're actually doing. If you've got this gleaming press pack and then they go on your Facebook page and you haven't made a post since 2019, they might go, nah, this doesn't look right. This is not right. So make sure, this is why you should always keep your social media going, because anyone could be on at any moment and see, oh, this band's doing nothing. Are they dead? What's happening? I'm getting mixed signals because, they're interested in doing whatever, but they're not willing to work on social media. Okay, well, I'll not bother booking them. So, yeah, bit of a red flag if you're not up to speed on that. And then last of all, contact. So that's just band email or manager email, or just contact phone numbers. So you were saying like, oh, how is this any different from a website? Well, you might, on a website, you probably don't want to put like loads and loads of bios of all the individual members. You probably don't want
contact information. That's the last thing you want to put up.
Exactly, yeah. And media reviews.
No phone numbers.
You want to maybe put a couple of media reviews on a website, maybe, if you think it's necessary. I would say probably not, because who's going to go on and go, oh, they played this festival? Oh, that's going to make me want to listen to the music. No, if they're on your website, they've already heard your music. They're on your website to do 2 or 3 things. Contact you, buy merch, or buy a ticket. And all the other stuff, really, for the general punter, like the person who's just a fan, there's nothing else they're on there for. Like, they might want to read a little bit about your story. That's interesting. But going into great depth of like news broadcasts and articles and blog posts, and like, it just seems like unnecessary bump to me. I don't know what you think about that, but it just, I don't know. Like, if you're going on a band's website, you're usually going on to book a ticket or buy merch.
Yeah.
Or to see what they're doing.
Uh-huh.
Look at some. You might see some music videos or some new releases. Like, oh, we've got a new Spotify thing. Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, this is basically like a website, but just more in depth. But it's got to be designed well. It's got to flow well. It's got to be something worth reading. So I've got a list here of some things. So yeah, traditional press packs back in the old days were physical press kits, usually like a ring binder or a booklet with all the information, and then it would have like CDs and little plastic wallet things. So they would, or cassette tapes if you go back far enough, and they would, the person would get your press kit, flick through, put it in their CD player, listen to the first 10-15 seconds of your first track, and then decide. So if you're putting your music up, I would recommend putting no more than 3 songs, because they're not going to listen to all of them anyway. And that was a story. I think it was like Gary Barlow. He sent his cassette tape off to some record label, and the guy listened to one of his songs and told him it was crap. It ended up being a massive hit. But they only listened to like the first 10 seconds, and it was a big long intro, and he's like, bored. So that's why a lot of pop songs, it's like straight into the chorus or straight into singing.
Yeah.
Is because the first 10 seconds is where people listen to these gatekeepers. So it has to engage them immediately because they're on a clock. They're trying to get as many things read as possible, and it's weird how these select.
It's annoying because like now I like intros.
Yeah. But you're not listening to 400
No, I'm
bands a day.
listening to enjoy.
You're listening to enjoy. It's their job.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that you should cut your intros on your songs. I'm saying that you should reduce the amount of songs you put on it. Put your best 3 tracks or 2 tracks, something that is very representative of your current thing.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's less of a thing now where it's like, oh, listen to the first 10 seconds. Because an MP3 player on a web page, you can just skip along really, really easily. But on a cassette tape, it's like play. It's not quite as
totally
friendly.
Yeah, you can kind of scrub through a track now.
Yeah. So it's less of a thing. But I would recommend doing the web page thing. PDF, you can't. The problem with PDF is, you said you can put links on, but what does a link do? It takes you off the PDF.
Yeah.
You don't want them to do that. You want them to stay engaged in the one thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I recommend a web page with embedded video players and MP3 players, rather than an external link that takes them off the page and onto something else.
Yeah.
I would just recommend that in general for web pages. Don't put links that make them come off your web page. You want to keep them on it as long as possible. So the most important thing about a press kit is to keep it brief and keep it relevant and make it nice looking. Put yourself in the shoes of a grumpy, overworked gatekeeper who can't be bothered doing their job and stumbles upon your press kit. Is it gonna read like a Wikipedia article, just a block of text with a little image, white paper, white background? Don't make it a white background.
No.
Unless it's part of your art style. Design it properly, make it look cool.
Yeah. Make it interesting, easy to read.
It's
basically like a more evolved version of the caveman test, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
That's the gatekeeper test.
Yeah. So a press kit that stands out is a press kit that will impress someone who's seen 1,000 press kits and is bored of looking at press kits. So they've got to open up your press kit and go, wow, I've seen 1,000 press kits and this thing's impressive. So
like these guys care.
These guys care, yeah. So don't be generic, be specific and personal. Mm-hmm. Don't use corporate speak. Like, be casual, be funny where possible.
I was gonna say, because like authenticity is now the new corporate speak, if that makes sense. Because like being professional just doesn't land with people anymore.
No.
It's almost like there's this sort of weird middle ground now where you're just like you're yourself, but but you're not quite, but you are. It's weird.
Yeah.
But totally. Authenticity.
It's almost like today it seems to be manufactured authenticity.
Yeah.
It's gone so far the other way that it's actually not authentic anymore. It's like an example of that would be the rule is that you capitalize every word in a song title. Mm-hmm. And a lot of artists now are just putting everything on lowercase, and it's quite jarring at first because it stands out. You ever seen that on Spotify where the song titles are just all like lowercase?
Yeah.
Billie Eilish was doing that for a while.
She did that with her first release.
And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that, but it made me go, oh, that's not the norm.
Yeah.
It's more casual. It's more how some people type. That's the type of thing I'm talking about. Is like, I've read some like band bios and they're just so boring. It's like a National Geographic interpretation. Just phone up David Attenborough and ask him to write your bio. It's like, no, it's just going to put you to sleep. So you've got to stand out as something cool and a bit different.
Yeah.
It shouldn't read like a Wikipedia page or National Geographic. It should be engaging, entertaining, whilst informing the reader on your band. So,
yep.
And there's another layer to this as well.
Okay.
Because you can make your press kit the most flashy, authentic version you can, right? But it means absolutely diddly squat if no one clicks on it. So, when you send off your press kit to people, to venues and festivals that you want to get booked in, who's to say they're actually going to open it? Right? So you have to think about the heading of it. So why would they click on your email to read it? Why would they click on your email so that they can get a link to your website? What would make them click on that? So the heading has to be something completely out of left field, like just completely like different from the rest. It's not going to be your band name's press kit, like if your band's called, I don't know, The Stools. I'm just looking at a drum stool. The Stools press kit 2021, right? The Stool Samples. You can totally have that name if you want.
Sorry.
The Stool Sample.
The mention of I'm a simple man. Farts and
poops. Yeah.
And puke, I just find hilarious all the time. And burps.
The Burps press kit 2021. Oh my god.
The mouth farts.
The mouth farts. How boring is that? It's just like, oh yeah, that's so obvious. So be different. So if they're receiving thousands of press kits a week, and they will not have the time to read them all, they just won't. So they will only click on the ones that look like, oh, I'll click on that one. That looks interesting. So they're not going to click on like your band name's press kit. So make it unconventional and quirky, like totally not another boring press kit, or big fat cool kid press kit, or big stupid press kit, or something like really. I'm not suggesting you do that, but like something like what's the word? Self-deprecating. Something.
If that works for you, you know.
If that works with your thing,
and if that's gonna be a hit with a venue, like if you're gonna be working with a venue that's maybe a little bit more formal, opposite might not work.
Depends.
You know, it totally depends. Try and get a read, and kind of experiment. You know. Like they're not gonna base. I mean, I wouldn't play at a venue anyway if like they were just going to base all of their expectations and like thoughts about you and they're gonna build this whole like reputation around you from one email with a slightly kooky heading. Yeah, you know, like, so don't be afraid to have a bit of a laugh or a joke with it, you know. Yeah,
they're going to forget. As soon as they read the bio, they're going to forget the heading. The heading is just to get them to click, and then you can capture them with your amazing press kit.
The greatest press kit ever made.
They'll not even remember that they clicked on clickbait.
Yeah.
Right? So you're going to try and make a clickbait title, something that's going to be like, oh, that's different.
This press kit will increase your virility by 110%.
That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Like something that's so stupid. And it's like, oh, I have to read this. What is this going to be about? I can't wait to read this. Like, just make the title so like ridiculous that it's like, oh, brilliant. You've got me. They'll probably even say, like, I saw your title and I was like, I have to read this. This has got to be... And if you can continue on a sort of similar theme, then go for that as well. But, just make it entertaining, because they'll be so bored reading, hi, we're a band, we met in 2018 and we're all pals and blah, 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 we made an album. It's just another one. It's like, this is not interesting at all. Try and make it funny. Just try and make it... Humor's just... Use humor all the time, wherever possible. Because... they'll thank you for it. I'll give you a kind of a weird example. Back to Tolkien again. I always do this. That story about Tolkien where he was marking exam papers and he was bored out of his mind. And then he turned over a page to the next student and it was blank. And he was so happy that it was blank and he didn't have to mark anything that he just, out of like sheer excitement, he just wrote the first line of The Hobbit. On the blank paper. He just went, in a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit, and it became his entire career for the next like 50 years or something. Just from that little one, like he was just like so like elated about this initial thing that it started something. So it's the same with clickbait. It's like, wow, this clickbait. Like, how many people and how many videos have you clicked on that were clickbait, and you clicked on it and you forgot that you clicked on clickbait because you're so engrossed in the video. You forgot how clickbaity and spammy or scammy the title was.
Yeah, no, totally.
But if the thing gives you value, you don't really care what the title is.
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of people have started doing clickbait ironically.
Yeah,
and it works.
It's funny.
It's quite
fun
funny.
Of it.
Yeah.
Satire's great. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Like, you can make the best press kit in the whole world, but if no one clicks on it, then what's the point?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So
that was interesting. I learned a lot.
Press kits.
Yeah.
If you've already got a domain and a website, just host it on your website, but just block it off so that no one can access it from your main web page. Just have it like this is the press kit thing. And you just send an email off with a funny title and shove your press kit link in, and then put the password if you want to password protect the page. And that's how I would do it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, that's what I would do the same thing. I would just add that you use your. I keep doing that. Use your judgment. Don't go absolutely, ridiculous with your weird headings or whatever, because like you're as well as like how it might get ignored if it's just like such and such press kit, right? That can also be boring. Having something that is totally wacko and like way out there, some people, it depends, you don't know, but like there might be the occasional person that goes, right, well, they're obviously taking the mick, so I'm just going to ignore them.
I don't know what...
You want to strike a fine line. And, just think about, like, your scene and think about how they view things. And think about memes and things that you can incorporate, things like that.
Age group of the people you're talking to. If it's like... I don't know, like a church hall, and you're trying to get play your band in a church hall. Keep the memes to a minimum. And well, I was thinking about this. I don't know what you would think about this. If it's a venue that you're trying to get into, and not many people know about it, and not many people are inquiring to get into it, maybe just keep it normal.
Yeah.
But if it's like T in the Park or Glastonbury, then they're looking at thousands of applications every hour. Like, you want to make it that as wacky as you can possibly get it, so that will stand out. Because, like I said, they're looking at thousands of applications all the time.
Your mum loves this band. This is its press kit. Click.
If you don't click this press kit, your family will, like, what's the chain letter thing?
Oh, right. You will have 7,000 years of bad luck.
That's so funny though. But like that, if I read that, it would be like, yes. It's like I get emails all the time, right, from students want to get like experience in studios and stuff, and they want to be an intern or whatever. And the emails that I usually get are, hello, Studio 1790. I am emailing to ask if blah, 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 and this and that. Here is my CV and my cover letter and all, and no links to like music.
It's
or anything
annoying
like
because
that.
like it's the colleges that are telling them to write emails like this.
Yes.
Hello, Studio 7. Hello, Gavin, for goodness sake.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because if they went on my website and read past the heading, it says like, hi, my name is Gavin Patterson. There's a little thing like, you know who you're emailing if you looked into it for more than 5 seconds. And you can tell the email is just drafted, and then they've just copied and pasted it and changed the heading for every studio. And it's like, there's nothing charming about them. There's just, they don't even send a link to music they've worked on. They just say, I did some work in Greg's, and I've got 5 hires and qualifications. I'm doing sound engineering at the college, blah, blah, blah.
And for all you know, like, you know, they could be like, you know, one of the best, like, sound engineers you ever get to work with or train or whatever. But they've done themselves such a disservice. And it's the same thing with the press kit, you know, like, they could think that you are like one of the, they listen to you, they're like, yes, this band is perfect for this venue or for this festival. We should 100% get them. You know, like, but if you don't, what's the word? You're shooting yourself in the foot, like, extra. Yeah.
If your press kit looks like a manual for a toaster.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good your music is. They're not going to book you.
Dear Mr. Glastonbury Music Festival.
I worked in Greg's for 2 months last summer with my mum. So that's press kits. I'm surprised I'd never thought about doing an episode on this earlier. Shows you. It's always something. It's always something else to chat about.
100%.
Cool. So
that's it.
That's that. As always, give us all the reviews, give us all the likes, give us all the subscribes. Click that notification bell. I don't know what that is.
And please feel free to message us or whatever you like. We read your comments. Yeah.
And stop commenting on my Instagram saying promote it on, promote it on, promote it on. Do you ever get that? You get these random spammers that are just like, hey, this is fire, promote it on, and it's just like bots commenting on every week.
Bots.
That is the equivalent of a bad press kit.
I usually get that, or I get some like random lad from like East Asia being like, yo, hire me. And I'm like, no, I don't know you. Go away.
Oh, I should do that for the next job interview. Just, hi, my name is Gavin Patterson. Hire me. Kind regards. See if that works.
Yeah.
You never know. Anyway, on that note, hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope it was useful. And if it wasn't, let us know. And if it was, let us know. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Sorry, I totally forgot to say bye.